let's talk about changing the world. Because after all, how many people do we know for whom it's really working in all ways? In this story of great separation, to paraphrase Charles Eisenstein, that we are living in right now, where polarization trap, another Charles reference, is at its peak, and we are so blinded by our own biases, all of these emotional responses that are happening in our minds as we take in information, which we are constantly, and we know in our hearts, Charles, the better world our hearts know is possible. And it's still all a story we're telling. So it's still all just a matter of turning that page, and in the next chapter, the next day, the humans decided to ... And then it can be anything. All of the things that are holding us back, we write solutions for them. Because right now, no one's talking about those solutions. How many leaders do you know of who talk about actual solutions and not elements of the problem and symptoms of the underlying causes of the polarizations and the wars and the politics and the red versus blue and the black versus white, and the not allowing for the gray areas and the beautiful rainbow of life around us, around us, in our families, our tribes, our communities, our planet, our relationship with all the species on Earth. Let's not ignore the fact that we are all here to live, to have this experience of life, and not allow ourselves to have our minds hijacked by just this story, this system, this goofy game that wants to take our attention and divert it in these powerful ways that reach us effectively. Because if it bleeds, it leads, right? Without fear, we wouldn't survive. It's an essential element. But how much will we let the fear actually dictate our thinking, our perceptions, our choices, our behavior, our actions, or our lack thereof? That's what we need to decide. And we need to look for leaders who will talk about these things, talk about the fact that the brain is a powerful thing, but it's programmed in certain ways to respond to certain emotions. And we have these set molds that are embedded deep within our identity that we cling to, that become our worldview and the way the world is. But there are those of us who dare to dream and reach beyond the confines of our own limited thinking and identities and biases and tunnel visions, and our need to belong and our fear of rejection that's been programmed in since the very beginning, with the reward if you do the good thing and the punishment if you do the bad thing. And that little piece of paper, green paper with the Ben Franklin on it, that comes out of daddy's little fold of cowhide in his pocket, that is how the world works. Anything fun, anything wonderful, anything you want, it's that thing that gets it. And the more that daddy gives those out of his wallet to give you those things, well, the more he must love you. What a crazy program to be telling. And at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, it was all a love story anyway. It was about a father's love for a daughter he wanted to see happy, and a daughter's devotion to a father. She wanted to do the right thing and fall in line with the world around her. And if what we need to change is the world around us, like that proverbial polluted fishbowl that we'd be swimming in, that if we're all swimming in this polluted fishbowl, we're all polluted, there's no escaping it. And when we're in the fishbowl, it's hard to see that we're in a fishbowl until you pluck us out of the fishbowl and say, look at that thing you've been swimming in. And that's where we are. And that's what we need to do. And that's where we need some people and some leaders and someone to acknowledge these truths and what our actual problems are and the challenges we're actually facing and what we actually might do together to change our world so we can all just live. Imagine just living. We can do this. Go with love.